Hi everybody, welcome to another video on the IP generator in Python. So here is the publication. I published this program on GitHub, and as you can see here, I've made some notes here, like this program would work only for CIDRs from /8 to /32. So if you're going to specify CIDR of /7, for example, it would actually exit the program, because actually there's no need to it's almost impossible to find a network with a CIDR /7 or /6, because if you think about it, for example, if we open up a Python and we do 2 to the power of, for example, 225, so this number of hosts would be on the network. So actually on big networks you will find networks like 2 to the power of 24 perhaps, /8 or something like that. But anyway, you can add it. Okay, I'm going to show you how to add it yourself here. I'm going to show you how did I add it on my program. So anyway, so let's me go ahead and execute the program. So IPGenerator, let's give an IP address of, for example, let's make some changes here, for example 29, 28. So as you can see here, we have a problem. I don't know. Yes, we have specified the wrong CIDR. So excellent. As you can see here, the program is flexible, guys. So you have specified an invalid net mask. It could detect it that we have specified an invalid CIDR, okay? And it told us that the valid values are from 1 to 32. So these are the values. So let's check out the program. So if you have seen the previous tutorial, guys, you already know how did we actually generated this, what this instruction actually does. Okay, this for loops, nested for loops, and you already know what this instruction actually does, the zip instruction. So let's give you an example what I'm doing here. Very simple, or simply put, let's assume that you have specified this sort of network, with a /25. So the zip file here would, or the IP calc, as I showed you before, would calculate for us the first IP address and the last IP address. Okay, so now we are going to enter the loop for I and j in zip first and last. So this is the first and this is the last. So actually zip would take the first elements from this list and the first element from this list and add them as a as a tuple. Okay, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So it would do the following, exactly like I'm doing here. Okay, so 16, etc. So next, what we are going to do, once we've got all the elements here as tuples, we're going to check I with j, as I showed you before. Okay, so if the value is equal, both values are equals, we are going to increment the index, and the index is 0. Okay, so once we've actually reached this point, the third or the fourth element here, actually this instruction would evaluate to false. So we are going to jump to the else statement. So now, if you remember, if you just think about it, the index now is 3. As you can see here, this is 0, 1, and 3, and we didn't increment the index because the both values was not equal. Okay, 1 and 254. So now we are going to check if the index is 0. No. The index is 3. No, and here we go. The index is 3. So what we are going to do, I've created some booleans here, so we can actually check out if the index was 0 or was 1 or was 2. Okay, and I'm gonna show you why did I actually created this booleans. So if the boolean actually was equal to true, boolean 0, we are going to make a new index to 0, and the reason why is we have to actually we are going to actually, if the boolean, so let's skip that example. So now the boolean is set to false. because we have initialized it by false here. So we didn't enter these loops, these if statements, because the index was not 0 and wasn't 1, wasn't 2. So all these statements would evaluate to false. So the last one is else. So we are going to make changes or to update the gen index to index. So the index is 3. So gen index is this is the generator. So is 3. So we are going to do some if statements here. So the gen index is 3, isn't it? So we are going to, for octet in range int I and j, and I and j is this is I and this is j. Okay, and the reason why I and j are 1 and 254 because the index is 3. So 0, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, that's the reason why actually I is 1 and j is 254. Now we are going to generate we are going to take, as you can see here, from the first IP, which is this one, from the first IP we are going to take the static values, which are 172.16.122. How did we actually discover that? We have discovered that using the gen index. As you can see here, I'm taking the from 0, I'm doing a list slicing here, from 0 to gen index, and gen index is 3, which is I am going to join these 3 numbers because I already know that the last one should be updated, okay, because the subnet mask was 24. Okay, so let's take another example. So let's assume that we have here 16. So now these values would be changed. For example, here 1 and here 255. Okay, this is the first IP and this is the last IP, or you could say 0 here. Okay, so actually the zip file or the zip method would actually create this list for us. So we are going to check if I was equal to 0. So I is equal to j. So we are going to increment the index. The index now is 1. Now here is equals, the index now is 2. Now it's not equal, the index remains 2. We are going to jump to the else here. The index is 0, the index is 1, which is false, the index is 2, which is true. So we are going to loop through I and j as always, and now I and j are 0 from 0 to 255. Okay, from 0 to 255. In this case, actually what we are going to do, we are going to set the boolean or int boolean 2 to true. Okay, so we can actually go back and get the list 2 element because we are appending the octet to this list, and we are going to increment the value. Now the value is 3, isn't it? So it's 3. So we are going to come back here. I is not equal to j because here 1 is not equal to 255. So we are going to jump here. The index is 3. We are going to check the boolean is 0, no. Is 1, no. Is 2, yes. Or boolean 2 is true, yes. I'm sorry. So we are going to update the gen index to 2. So now the gen index is 2. And remember, the index is 3, the gen index is 2. Now let's scroll here down, and as you can see here, the gen index is 0 is false, this is false, this is true. So here we are going to loop through the list 2. That's the reason why I named this as 2. So we are going to loop through the list number 2. Okay, so that contains values from 0 to 255. Okay, and basically here we are going to loop through it and loop through I'm sorry, not here but here. We are going to loop through list 2, and we are going to loop through the last octet, which is, as you can see here, I and j now are the last values. Okay, are the last values because actually the index was 3, has been changed. Okay, so now we are going to join all the available from 0 to gen index, which is 2. This is the static value. We are going to hold this value. So from 0 to 2, which is this value should be static. It shouldn't be updated. And basically we are going to join or to add the octet here and the octet 2. Okay, so it would actually evaluate to an IP address. and the same things applies actually to other stuff. Okay, so as you can see here, guys, this is the more complex one, when index is 0. And once index is 0, actually we know that the user has actually specified a CIDR less than 8, for example /7. So let's check that. Let me Python, for example, IPGenerator 172. I love this IP address, guys, so I'm sorry for that. So let's generate it. So as you can see here, we have all the combinations of IPs. So as you can see here now, the IP is 173, not 72. Okay, I don't think so. If you have I don't think that if a person has all these IP addresses on the network. For this, I didn't add it to this publication. So hopefully you like this video, guys, and if you have any questions, you can post them under the video. You can leave your comments, and thank you for viewing this video. See you next time.